I'm an emergency physician by training, and so although I've spent years taking care of people at the bedside, and although this can be a divisive issue and a complicated issue, I always want us to bring us back to the common goal, which is I just want more people, less people in our trauma bays, and more people to be safe. Less gun injuries, less gun violence, less gun death, and people having to be taken care of in our hospitals. So that's the perspective I bring.
Michigan has, since post-World War II, prohibited the use or possession while hunting any semi-automatic firearm capable of holding more than 6 rounds when fully loaded, with the exception of 22s. 22s can have a large capacity. I see no reason why that shouldn't be the basis for firearm legislation across the board here in the state and someday across the United States. It's reasonable. Hunters have embraced it forever, and some states even take it farther. They invoke the 3-round limit that's imposed by federal law on waterfowl hunters, and they impose that on all hunters in North Dakota. I think it's reasonable. It's something that people have had 80 years of familiarity with, especially hunters, and I would love to see hunters take a larger, bigger voice in this debate. I was an NRA member for 30 years. I left it 3 years ago because they should have led the charge for some reasonable changes. They could have been heroes and come forward with a legislator who had some sway to accomplish some minor changes that would make life better. They refused to do so.
Police are reactive. Community is proactive. There's a lot of things we can do in the community if we had more partnerships and resources to adequately do them, and not just a token to say we've done something. Oftentimes in the community we're given a little and say, okay, do something with that, but it's not enough for a sustaining process. Oftentimes, I think when we're ready to do some substantial things, there's too much red tape to get the resources and the people to where the problems are to adequately do it, and by the time that the resources come, more and more destruction happens. I think that we're to the point now where we're in a crisis situation, and so we need to do some things that's never done before. Our mission at our church is empowering people to transform themselves and the community. The answer is in people. The answer is in people involvement in our community and individuals getting involved in the issue.
I have two sons at home, an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old. That I can't send them to the store to buy a 6-pack of Bell's beer to share with the governor when she visits, but they can go to the local gun store, buy a semi-automatic rifle, multiple extended magazines, 500 rounds of ammunition, without my knowledge, without my permission, without prior training, regardless of what their history is with regard to mental health, as long as they weren't involuntarily committed at one point in time. Well, that's crazy. It's just crazy. We need to do more with regard to legislation.
There's no question, as I hear the personal stories, that the hearts that are broken because of gun violence, it's very real. And as governor, I can tell you that of all the tough stuff we've had to confront, the absolute worst days were the days in the wake of the Oxford shooting. Because I do this work because I care about people and I want to help solve problems. And when a parent loses their child in a school shooting, there's literally nothing you can do to alleviate the pain, except for try to figure out how can we solve this and how can we prevent future deaths. One of the recurring themes here, I don't know if you heard it too, but that I heard was pieces of the puzzle. A few of you used that phrase, recognizing that it's not just one aspect of what's happening, but multiple that are contributing to the climate that we're all addressing.